So this is crazy. I don't know. I've never even done this. My finger hovered over the live button for some time, but I guess this is kind of therapy doing this. I never thought that I would go ahead and put it out there like that. But a couple days ago, I lost a really good friend to Lyme disease, and it hit close to home. He was a guy that gave me a lot of great advice when I'd first come into this. I'd met him at several Mayday rallies, and I don't know, just hearing that he passed, it was heartbreaking. But it wasn't just that. I'd gotten an inbox on Facebook the other day from a family whose 8-year-old son had heart block and was having severe complications from Lyme disease in Loudoun County. And for the longest time, I've kind of shied away from talking about activism and even sharing my own story just briefly, and just how debilitating Lyme disease can be, and how life altering how life altering it really is. And one of the things with this disease is we appear healthy, and a lot of us wear masks because we want to be accepted in society, and we have days where we're semi-functional. And when I say semi-functional, like those days would put most people in the ER. There's always residual symptoms, and the bad days are really bad. But you know, finding out that Jim passed was really tough. He was one of the guys that he'd get up every day and just kept pushing through, and traveled all around, and just was a great mind. And it's crazy because even on the social media aspects, I don't even think that it fully encompasses how many people truly suffer. So when the CDC says there's 300,000 cases of Lyme disease every year, um, that I don't believe that scratches the surface. And to know now that Lyme disease affects more people than breast cancer and AIDS combined, that's massive. But me, from a personal standpoint, like I said at the very beginning of the video, my finger hovered over the going live button just out of shame. I didn't want to. I don't know. It's not something I like talking about, but it's also something that's altered my life completely, and even my kids, as they kind of watch me go through it. I wear a mask around in public and pretend to be healthy, and to do what I think's right. But at the end of the day, I can't work like a normal guy. I can't do a lot of the things that I used to be able to do 11 years ago. And I think so many people stay in hiding with their illness because of fear of being rejection, because they look healthy, or if they get out and they do something that's normal, they don't want to be judged. So it's, just like I said, seeing lives pass and seeing people that I know lose their life to this disease, knowing, if I go to bed, am I going to wake up in the morning? The biggest thing, wanting to, stay around for my kids. But it's difficult. So if you're out there suffering, I'd encourage you, to reach out, to not be ashamed. I mean, if there's people that judge you for being ill, let God deal with that. It's not something that you should stress. It's something that I'm coming to terms with, specifically being a male and being sick. Uh, we tend to keep it under wraps, and not really talk about it, as if there's a stigma with it, like we should be ashamed of being ill. Quite the opposite. People should be proud that they've gotten up and fought another day. And it is difficult, and I would encourage you guys out there that are sick to hold tight to some close friends, because it can be a very grim and lonely disease. It's I've seen it steal so many people's careers, including mine. It's not like people wake up. I was 26 years old. It's not like I decided, hey, let me not be a network engineer today and stay in bed. I was very active. But just seeing like an overwhelming sense of grief and sadness through the community, and it's hard to encourage when there's no cure out there, and there's no research for a cure being done. Where do you find hope? Where do you what do you do when everybody's well wishes are the same, specifically when you've been going through it for a decade? um, I know I'm kind of babbling, and either I had to write this out, or I was going to do a live video. But I can't wear a mask anymore. I coach my son in basketball, and it's one of the hardest things that I ever do. It's incredibly hard. I crash when I get home, but I try to smile through it and not let anybody know what's going on. Um, we try to find some sort of joy in our life as it is now. But again, the biggest message is, don't be ashamed of your illness, and reach out. I've seen and lost far too many friends that took their lives over this disease because they felt ashamed. And there's nothing to feel ashamed about being sick. Like I've said many, many, many times, it makes you a stronger person than generally those that are surrounding you, even those that you think might be judging you. So just be open about your illness. It's chronic. It's debilitating. It's not like we're going to step into a cure tomorrow. But have hope. You know, try to be as positive as possible, and just hold tight to people that are around you. And if there's not people that are around you, you got to reach out. You have to reach out. I can't continue to see lives lost from this disease, people taking their lives, and that wasn't the case with Jim, but it's so often the case. So just keep fighting, keep doing your thing. Try to manage what kind of life you have. Just put things in that pique your interest, and keep you engaged in humanity. When you start to withdraw, it's when it becomes very, very, very difficult. So yeah, I can't even believe that I went live. Whatever you've got to do to maintain your sanity, to get up, through the day. I know some days it's difficult to get out of bed, and there's multiple different, scenarios that you play in your head. But for a lot of us, it seems like Groundhog Day. You get up and you go through the same routine for 2, 3, 5, 8, 20 years. And, it could take your life tomorrow, or, it can be long and drawn out. And the symptom list is way too much to just go over. But, for anybody that's watching this video or that sees it after it's posted, Lyme disease is serious. It's very serious this summer. Women, it's more prominent than breast cancer. Not to belittle breast cancer, but it's more prominent than AIDS. Yet there's no awareness about it. A small tick changed the entire direction of my life, stole so much joy, and the majority of my youth. And just be conscious. If you're out golfing, if you're in the woods, even if you're walking in your yard, if you feel symptomatic at all during any time during the year, definitely get checked out, but specifically spring and summer during high tick season. And they're saying that it's supposed to be really bad this year. Demand answers. Don't just settle. I settled for 2 years and was misdiagnosed. And by that time it was in my heart, central nervous system, pretty much affected every part of, my bodily function. So anyways, for you guys that have Lyme, stay strong. For you guys that are struggling, like I said, reach out. And for you guys that aren't sick, value your health. I saw a post this morning about, which people would rather have, their health or their money. And surprisingly, I saw a lot of people from this generation, choosing money. But it's one of those things, you really don't get it till you get it. And never in a million years did I think that I would have lost my health, that life would be how it is now. I thank God that I'm not in a wheelchair like I was, and I'm able to speak clear and concise now. But that might not be the case in 3 months. For a while that was the case. I was in bed 18 hours a day in a wheelchair, had to be helped showered and stuff like that. It's a reality. From a small tick bite, I mean, it's vector borne, so it can be spread through mosquitoes and stuff like that. But again, this is stuff that you're not going to hear on the news. But I would encourage you to do research, and just be aware, and protect your families. That's it. This is incredibly awkward to be live and talking to my phone, knowing that people are listening on the other end. But yeah, that's it. Keep fighting, guys.